I'm transiting you from the opening session now to the session 1, More with Less, Managing Road Assets Against All Odds. And I'll hand it over immediately to Nicolas Miravalls, the CEO of Oris, who will introduce the next round of speakers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susanna. Thank you very much. More with less, managing road assets against all odds. What an ambitious program, and that's a big tagline, but it's so true and necessary. So I have a very experienced set of speakers and panelists with me today. We will explore why against all odds, because probably the sector is very complex, and this is covering from innovation, practices, governance, tools, a lot to explore. So I would also add that the sector is very traditional, and that's also against all odds. So traditional because lagging in technology, very sensitive in governance, and also multi-impacts from social to environmental to economic impacts. So, and finally, it's also multi-stakeholders, and this is a complete industry transformation that we have in front of us. And multi-stakeholder is the right introduction also to introduce our panelists, because I'm really pleased to have 5 people representing 5 different works and positions in this ecosystem, from services to engineering, software, contractors, and owners, concessionaires. Mike Evans from ARUP will take the floor first. Mike is a global highway leader for ARUP. He will tell us about a new way to plan and manage the assets. Subu, Kamal. Subu is the head of product management and partnership at TRL, and Subu will drive us through innovative road asset management tools. We have Valerio Molinari, president of Ecogest and entrepreneur. Valerio will drive us through vegetation techniques to fight climate change and to limit climate change impact. We have Guilain also with us. Guilain is the Director of International Business Development, Guilain Pédesert, and is working at Wattway by Colas. Wattway is the solar road, and Guilain will introduce us to this solar road. Finally, we have Yilmaz Koyuncu, also with us, the Deputy General Manager of the Northern Marmara Motorway in Turkey. And Yilmaz will tell us about his on-the-ground experience in real asset management. So very happy to have this distinguished panelists with me. I will let the floor right away to Mike, that will start the presentation. Thank you, Mike.
Hello, everybody. Really pleased to see you. I'm hoping that you can see my screen now.
We can, perfect. Yeah.
Brilliant. Straight into it. More with less, new ways to plan and manage assets. Just a little bit to start off with. I mean, where are the pressure points coming from? Inflation has joined sustainability, decarbonisation, and equity as key things that we need to think about to deliver better outcomes. We know about climate change, need to adapt our assets to provide more resilient networks. So let's talk about limiting resource consumption, use less material, be more sustainable, and reduce costs. How do we respond? I want to talk about optimizing the network. Whatever about people, when do we hit peak car? Let's think about more efficient ways to move goods and people. Optimize the use of materials. If we optimize the networks that we have, we can reduce the size they need to be. That reduces resource consumption and cost. And let's focus on maintaining those assets to extend their life and reuse materials. So I use circular economy and the 9R framework as a way to think about this topic. Just to introduce you to the 9 Rs, it's a way developed by, coming from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. I use one that we've done with Transport Infrastructure Ireland and RWS in the Netherlands. And I want to focus in on 2 parts of it. One, recycle, but also how do we rethink and reduce what we need to build? So in transport, how do we rethink for better outcomes? I'd advocate to think about the modular hierarchy. Think about providing for active travel in public transport first and private vehicles after all of that. The intervention hierarchy, let's maintain what we have, optimize what we build, then improve, and think about reducing the amount of new build that we do. So just conceptually, what does that look like? Well, we think about building large roads. Previous speaker mentioned being flexible in how we think about things. Think about public transport, think about getting more people onto the vehicles. And we all have heard about compact cities and having everything where it is, that you can walk and cycle to. So just extending on to how we rethink the problem. As a road planner, as a road engineer, we're trying to think about congestion and level of service as a function of volume over capacity. And we have a tendency to add capacity all of the time. But of course, we can work the volume part of the equation. And that's about us thinking more about the passengers kilometers traveled rather than providing for the vehicle kilometers traveled. And obviously, if you begin to think about passenger kilometers traveled, you begin to reduce the energy consumption that the transport system uses, and that reduces the load that we place on the rest of the system. So just taking that a little bit further, I want to talk about, for example, what we've done in Brisbane on Brisbane Metro. This is essentially a very sophisticated bus rapid transit system. And here's Victoria Bridge. Now, Victoria Bridge was a bridge that existed already in Brisbane. What we've done is we refurbished it, planned how it will work, carrying buses, but much more active travel, walking and cycling. And what that does is increases the usefulness of the bridge, the purposefulness of it for society. And this way of thinking about providing access using buses, which is a low-cost solution, increases the amount of transport available to more people and is a fast way to provide better equity in transport. Now, just moving on, we talk about recycling, and I want to talk to you a little bit about how people think about carbon in the system. So this is based on EN 17472. This traditional way of thinking about carbon in the life cycle of what we do in civil engineering. But really, one of the things that I notice about it is that it doesn't really focus on reuse and recycling. So I've just done a version of it that is a little bit more pleasant to look at. And I want you to think about it and reflect on how we can bring more material into reuse. Think about recycling. If we can recycle and reuse the material that we already have in our systems as we manage those assets, that reduces the amount of consumption that we need to have. And that's a key way of reducing the amount of carbon that we have in our system. So to take that a step further, I just want you to think about how we can bring recycled material into our constructions. This is an example of where we've developed standards to bring aggregate recycled concrete aggregate into concrete. Here's another really interesting example of where we've developed how we bring plastics as an aggregate source. So we all should try and recycle plastics as plastic, but we're not there yet. And in the meantime, we could use some of those plastics that are difficult to recycle as aggregates in our road surfacings, for example. So I hope I've given you a little bit of time back there, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Mike. And indeed, you are right on track. So thank you. And this is amazing how you approach this circularity. And this is really, a comprehensive way to do it. We will have further questions for you after the presentation, but I will pass the floor first to make sure we have everybody speaking. Subu Kamal will present us on innovative road asset management tools. Subu, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Nicolas. I hope the screen is visible.
It is. Thank you.
Yeah. So my name is Subu Kamal, and I head the product management function at TRL Software. And what I will be sharing is we have varied experts on the forum, who are experts at people like Mike with decades of experience in asset management, and prioritization, frameworks, deployment, and all. What I'm going to focus is not on the institutional side of asset management, but some of the recent trends and changes that we have seen on ground when we are deploying solutions across the world. So TRL Software has our own product called IRF. It's an asset management, digital asset management tool. It is used by the likes of national highways with the last 30 years of data to a small sort of council authorities in South Africa and various different sizes and configuration of states, countries, regions, and so all over those deployments, we have seen some trends emerging around technology. That is what I will talk about and share with the audience. So I'll give a quick glimpse of the software, how it looks and feels, so that it's more real for the audience. So what we are seeing is a lot of the solutions that customer are asking is self-service. Users should be able to do everything themselves, like you expect to use in any of the modern cloud-based solutions, and it's scalable and digital. Flexible. The other most very important aspect or requirement that is coming from customers, they want solutions and software and technology that is simple to get started. In a week, in few days, we need to get this up and running. So that's kind of requirement, and that is possible right now. A variety of data is coming in, not just from road condition surveys, but from various other news sources. The learning curve required for the new users had to be simple and intuitive. So users have to just log in and start using the system without any intensive trainings like modeling software or anything. It should be simple and easy to start and use. So AI, of course, is tech-driven predictive maintenance is coming big time. There are new trends like satellite imagery-based condition data emerging, remote conditions, and simple low-cost, simple life cycle analysis, whole life cost analysis, customer needs driven. So this is where most of the asset management decisions traditionally have been taken by the condition data of the roads or the assets. What we are also seeing is that is fine, but we are seeing data coming from customers. They are raising issues, complaints, and that goes into the asset management systems these days, and that is also taken in decision making. So it's not just condition based. There are new other trends coming up, like Amazon Prime, they'll get delivered in 24 hours. You have on-demand surveys happening. So 24 hours, you get surveys completed and delivered, visualized in your solution. So that's another thing. And then roads that talk, that is connected, and for the future trials, connected and autonomous vehicles, expect the roads to talk to the vehicles and share and the condition, history, and also that there is a lot of work happening, IoT, 5G, Starlink from Elon Musk on top of network survey vehicles 203, V2X. So quite a lot of technology, future technology is also happening. So a lot of this, what it means is simple to start, simple to use, and then build on top of it as you go. So that's a big trend that we are seeing. So those are some of the trends that we are seeing. Next is about, I'll just give
Finding any asset is quick and easy with the map search options.
In next 5 minutes.
You can explore the data held against any asset in great detail. For example, for this road section we can view data about its length, location, speed limits, and investigatory levels. Here are details of a core test taken on this road. Here we can view any condition data collected for this pavement. And here we can view any documents attached to the asset. Using the Data Explorer tool, we can also perform more advanced searches. In this example, we are looking for all the roundabouts along a single major road. In the same way, we can also highlight areas of poor condition, or accident black spots for example. You can choose the background map of your choice from a selection provided with the product, or add your own from a trusted source. We also support 3D mapping, which can help to get a clear picture of the surroundings of your assets, such as hilly terrain or built-up areas. Here we can see the data import utility, showing the large variety of different assets and data types IROPS can support. For example, condition data, flood data, works plans, construction and maintenance data, survey imagery, and traffic data. The IROPS Data Marketplace is a new initiative which aims to connect providers of novel datasets with IROPS customers and make it easy to procure and use these datasets in the system. The available range of datasets includes climate data, vehicle sensor data, and detailed road condition data. All spatial data in IROPS can be visualized on the map as overlays. Here we can see some road surface condition data overlaid on the map, and being styled based on thresholds to highlight areas of possible concern. Other useful datasets to view on the map include traffic data, accident data, reported defects, flood risk zones, and roadworks locations. Combining spatial datasets in this way can generate highly practical insights. Survey imagery captured by vehicle-mounted cameras can also be stored and played back, just as if you were driving the road from your desk. Images are always spatially referenced to the precise location at which they were captured, meaning that you can view images at a specific point on the network. Vast quantities of road asset data come into our system, and often it's necessary to transform the data in various ways to make it practically useful for many use cases, for example, to categorize condition data according to some thresholds. We provide the tools to allow you to set up these transformations directly in the system, reducing reliance on outside systems or services. We can also pre-configure more complex analyses, so that you can be confident that the correct standard is being applied every time. Users can save time by not starting from scratch, but still customize inputs and certain parameters to suit their needs. Here we can see a complex KPI analysis being configured. This analysis will combine and process various datasets to produce a high-level overview of network condition for use in strategic decision-making. And here we can see a dashboard view of the results of the same KPI analysis. The results of any analysis can be visualized in tables, reports, map layers, or dashboards, and exported to other formats. Our Strategic Decision Analysis Suite is designed to help you take optimal decisions to manage your asset portfolio to meet strategic goals. It helps to answer questions such as, what's the best way to spend my maintenance budget? Or, what is the most cost-effective maintenance policy? Here we can see a strategic decision analysis being set up for a 5-year window. You can set up a maintenance policy, including various treatment types and automated rules for when they should be applied, to mirror your organization's actual policy, or to test out alternatives. The underlying model is highly detailed, and based on TRL's extensive expertise in this area. Likewise, you can model your real maintenance budget, or choose to model other budget scenarios, for example, to understand the likely effects of a budget decrease or increase. Results are presented with clear and intuitive visuals, and aligned with the organization's strategic goals, for example, network resiliency, average journey times, or cost effectiveness. Outputs have been carefully designed to support optimal strategic decision-making. IROPS, your roads asset management. Finding any asset.
So that's a quick summary of some of the capabilities that I talked about. The key thing is you can start using this in a very short period, like a week, 2 weeks. New systems are up and running. Most of the data sets are already available, and you can build and add more data sets as we go ahead. So in doing more with less, instead of investing in large complex systems, you can get started in simple systems, use basic data, and then build as we go, leading. And when you use it for proper whole life costing analysis and decision making, you are saving, or you are doing more with the amount of budget and money you have. So that is the conclusion of my talk. Any questions I can take? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Subu. Thank you, and congratulations for the very comprehensive development we've seen. And digital is definitely at the heart of this new era of asset management. I think it is really impressive, and it was great to see the video as well. We'll have more questions for you. I saw one in the chat. You can obviously answer it directly in the chat box if you want to, and we'll come back to you later. Now we have Pietro. I think Pietro is replacing Valerio, right? Pietro is working for Ecogest, and the presentation will be about how vegetation can fight the climate change impacts. Pietro, nice to meet you. Nice to see you here, and I'll let you the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Mr. Molinari apologizes, but unfortunately the connection in the place where he is working around the world does not allow for a stable connection. I am the general manager of Ecogest, and will be my care to share with you this report. So if Laura assists me with the presentation and the slide, I am ready to start for the moment. Okay. Thank you for this important opportunity to present a further step in our study on the effects of climate change on the transport infrastructure, and in particular on maintenance techniques that can cushion and contain the devastating effects of climate change on the intermodal transport system and motorways, in particular over the past decade. Over the past 2 years, we have shared the results of our analysis during study and reflection meetings in many countries. From the analysis of the current situation, we moved on to the analysis of the causes and the possible corrective measures on current maintenance techniques, with particular reference to vegetation and motorway grading, but also hydraulic regulation and the management of related interventions. Today, we are confronted with a new frontier that of the application of new technologies that go beyond conventional schemes and demonstrate how innovation, if well used, can bring added value that is difficult to replace even in this sector. The advancement of research in the area of innovative technologies and the Internet of Things will allow us to achieve great benefit in Industry 4.0 applications, also in the area of green maintenance along roads and motorways, thanks to an increased focus on the resources chosen. Usually, the production system interested in producing more and better clashes with the characteristics needed to ensure greater protection for the environment, especially in exceptional conditions such as the current ones, which are strongly influenced by climate change. Our goal is precisely this, to demonstrate how the application of IOS can guarantee greater output, reduce the time and cost, and at the same time promote production processes that respect the environment and protect it from the aggression of endogenous factors resulting from climate change. The idea of connecting the company to the work site to digital technology will enable us the digitization of operating machines and the real-time monitoring, an optimization of production performance and green management costs, a redistribution of the economic budget for green maintenance, greater sustainability of interventions to protect biodiversity and entomofauna. Connecting the company to the work site with the technology allows us to shorten the operation chain, to process data more comprehensively and faster, but also to guarantee the contribution in terms of experience and expertise of technical pools located in various parts of the world in real time, and with the possibility of an interchange of information that networks field experience from different geographical areas. The set of tools and strategies that enable the synergic and interconnected use of advanced information and telecommunication technologies to make green maintenance more efficient and sustainable are represented in two main lines of action: study, monitoring, and data collection of the territory, as drones and sensors, AI, cloud and big data, monitoring of hydraulic platform works, GPS, and targeted reprogramming of green management interventions, reduced or differentiated moving, wildflowers, use of wild and indigenous plant spaces. In this first step of the study, we will focus on drone support and the functional reprogramming of green maintenance operations using the most advanced technology, of which the drone is an important part. These are drones and sensors are small vehicles that can monitor the territory in real time simply by transmitting images and useful information they pick up from land mapping. The use of optical, thermal, and multispectral sensors or drones with a remote piloted aircraft system allows a detailed and non-invasive analysis of the territory. Ecogest has already equipped itself with a used unmanned system and tech mobile station capable of surviving the vegetation in the area adjacent to the motorways axis and processing high-resolution orthophotos and 3D models of the area. The dedicated support vehicle, specially built for the service, is also equipped with a mobile control unit that allows images to be recorded and redirected to an external control center, or to be examined in real time thanks to the transmission and the payback system built into the vehicle itself. After collecting a large amount of data thanks to the drone's activity, it's processed and transmitted through increasingly sophisticated algorithms, allowing us to have services accessible in real time and shared resources on the network, and to ensure targeted and timely maintenance interventions on the territory. In fact, this is the first step to imagine not only the support of technology to green maintenance activities, but also the real support to propose effective maintenance models to dealers, adapted to the new climatic challenges and able to guarantee optimal results without losing sight of the logic of cost containment. Monitoring of hydraulic platform works is fundamental to define the methods for collecting, controlling, and disposing of water from the road platform, both from a quantitative and qualitative point of view, and it presents points of profound interaction with the maintenance system of the vegetation heritage on the motorway in the pertaining areas, since the functionality of the two systems has a decisive impact on the full efficiency and safety of the motorway. Hydraulic systems are currently sized by taking into account average rainfall intensities, with return times varying between 20 and 100 years, depending on the function of the drainage system to be sized: collection, convenience, or delivery function. This implies that extreme phenomena, such as those currently occurring, are not manageable by existing systems. increasing the cross sections of the water drainage system from the road surface to the ditches by replacing gullies made of simple concrete embryos with very small cross section and flow rates, with drainage channels made of stones or material found on site. Carry out targeted maintenance of surface water disposal and collection system. Construction of receptive hydraulic work near the road axis, such as lamination tanks and inspection vessels. Ecogest has been using software to geolocalize its fleet for several years. The ability to track vehicles in the field improves productivity and encourages safer driving for company fleets. The GPS of the fleet is equipped with dashboards, reports, and alarms. View vehicle and driver location on a live map. Tracks driver speeding, engine stops, and aggressive driving. Allows route optimization, reduces the vehicle maintenance and fuel costs, increases production efficiency. The real novelty in the maintenance activities will concern the activation on an experimental basis on some areas adjacent the motorways of reduced or differentiated moving, i.e. areas where the grass will be moved less frequently to leave room for the spontaneous flowering of a greatest number of plants. This will protect biodiversity and provide more sustenance for pollinating insects. Reducing the frequency of moving in certain areas will also optimize green management costs and, in particular, redistribute the economic budget earmarked for maintenance, offering the opportunity to commit more economic resources to moving close to the roadside, which will increase road safety in terms of visibility and fire risk during the summer season. An effective strategy that will enable us to manage differentiated moving successfully and sustainably is to use new green plantings or to integrate into existing ones spontaneous and native annual and perennial species, also known as wildflowers. The use of these plant species will provide a number of benefits, including naturalistic potential, protection of biodiversity, soil thermoregulation, reducing CO2 emissions, optimization of maintenance costs, educational and cultural function. The study conducted by the Climate Change Study Center in the next steps of expansion and updating associated with innovative digital technologies will aim at a complete digitization of green management, providing useful decision-making tools both at the logistic level and in the operational actions of the company, which will thus be able to implement choices aimed at greater sustainability towards the environment and economic optimization of green management costs. It's therefore an epoch-making revolution that transforms a formerly almost artisanal activity into an industrial process that combines not only the use of modern and environmentally friendly operating means, but also the most up-to-date pre-intervention, analysis, and detection technologies. In essence, the maintenance of motorway greenery and the natural system around it is no longer a secondary or marginal activity, but takes a center stage in the challenges of climate change. The demonstration that nature is always the teacher, tracing new and explored paths, where, on the contrary, human indifference has risked compromising establishment balances that have regulated the life of the planet for millennia.
Pietro, excuse me.
for
Yeah,
your attention.
okay. I see the last one. Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you for your attention. It's all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I was just pointing at the time, but you are right in time. Thank you so much. And demonstrating also the importance of those vegetation topics aside from the road itself and the network itself. It is so important for climate. Thank you, Pietro. Now we will move right away to another dimension, and this is very much about pavement innovation and road solution. Guilain Pédésert from Whiteway by Colas will drive us through the Whiteway innovation. Guilain, are you here? Yeah.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Perfect, loud and clear. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Can you see my screen also?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. So I will talk to you today about Whiteway. So the issue that we are addressing is that since we are all looking at reducing the CO2 emissions, whether it's for the transport infrastructure or let's say in general life, we have addressed an issue which is the growing need of photovoltaics integrated to the transport infrastructure. So one of the main issues with photovoltaics is that PV production is one of the most cost-efficient renewable energy solutions, but the downturn of it is that there are lots of space constraints which are linked with PV. So the idea of Wattway is to use the existing infrastructure in order to produce renewable energy. So as you can imagine, placing PV on the transport infrastructure proves a lot of opportunities worldwide, because you can use the car parks, the airports, the marinas, the ports, the bicycle path, or the industrial sites in order to place solar panels. When you cannot place them on the roof of the, let's say, constructions, you can place these solar panels on the road, actually. So what is Wattway? Wattway is actually a compound of sturdy materials in which some photovoltaic cells are incorporated. Wattway is the result of 10 years of research, development, and testing, which has led us to have now a patented solar pavement, which we are now rolling out large scale, let's say, worldwide, in Japan, in the Netherlands, in Dubai, etc., etc. Since we have not a lot of time, I will go quite fast. The idea, one last, let's say, word about the idea of Wattway is not necessarily to inject the energy that we produce on the road to the, let's say, grid, because the grid has been designed, for instance, in France for nuclear plants, for hydraulics, etc. So let's say that the native grid doesn't like very much to accept the renewables, because then you have to play with tension and with frequency of the electricity. So the main business model of Wattway is mainly self-consumption, meaning that you will use the energy that you produce where it is produced. The Netherlands is the country that we have chosen as a use case, because this is one of the first countries that we have addressed regarding our solar pavement. And it is also, with, let's say, Germany and Switzerland, maybe the most pushy countries on how we can give a second use to the existing infrastructure. So Netherlands, we started in 2011, I believe, 2018, sorry, I believe, to roll out projects until we went, let's say, large scale this year with more than 2,000 square meters installed over cycling tracks in Breda and in Schiphol. Schiphol, you may all know, because it is like very close to the Schiphol airport of Amsterdam. A few pictures from them. So this is Breda. This is what we call North Brabant. This cycling track is a 500 meter cycling track. So the area installed, since we have 2 rows of panels, is around 1,000 square meters. The nominal power installed is 130 kilowatts peak. So this will not speak necessarily to everyone in the room, but as an average, that could be the equivalent of around 30 households consumption every year. So we have that one in Breda, and we have also exactly the same one which was installed in Schiphol. You can see the airplane in the background, for the same, let's say, length of cycling track, the same area installed of 1,000 square meters around, and the nominal power again of 130 kilowatts peak. Okay, so once again, the idea of Colas being one, let's say, one of the world leaders of road construction, has been to think about how we can give a second use to that road, knowing that roads on an average are used only 10% of the time. So that means that the 90% of the time remaining, these roads are just staring at the sky and at the sun when it's sunny, of course. So this is the idea of Wattway, and this is our disruptive technology in order to enhance and reduce, let's say, CO2 emissions around the world using the road infrastructures. That's the end for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Guilain. Thank you so much. Yep. Thank you for the vision on how to improve also on the pavement side. It is very interesting, and I will have more questions for you right after.
Okay.
Before we will hand over with our next and last speaker for the panel, Mr. Yilmaz. Yilmaz is Deputy General Manager for the Northern Marmara Motorway in Turkey, and he will tell us about his experience with asset management, and I would say direct asset management, because here it's about real case study with real network and real concessionaire. So welcome to the round table, and we are all listening to you, Yilmaz.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you to introduce our project and our experiences in this platform. We are one of the newest members of IRF, I believe. But thank you for this chance. As you have mentioned, I would like to introduce our project and real lifetime experiences. I would like to talk about a little bit. Our project is located in Istanbul, which connects two continents. One is Asia and the other one is Europe. And we have two different parts located in two different continents. Along the motorway, it's more than 400 kilometers motorway. Along the motorway, we have one main control center, one disaster recovery center, 3 tunnel operation centers, 9 motorway service areas, 3 different operation and maintenance centers located along the motorway, 20 toll collection plazas, and 24 free-flow toll collection stations. Northern Marmara Motorway is one of the most important PPP investment project in Turkey. This project's main focus is transportation. However, when we look at its sphere of influence, it would be correct to say that it's provided a tremendous development in our country on regional basis. And also, our project is pioneer of intelligent transport system in Turkey. And before passing to the traffic control center and main control activities, we have 95 variable message screen located in different sections of the motorway, 165 variable traffic sign, 1,420 cameras, 77 weather sensors, 77 traffic counting sensors. In total, it's 1,826 units of smart motorway sensors are located along the motorway, so we can call it our motorway as a smart motorway. And as you could see on the screen, we have a main control center located at the center of the project. And as a focal point, the main control center serves to traffic safety during the events and accidents, or to the routine, periodic, and routine maintenance operations under normal conditions. And it also aims to monitor and control coordination, report, analyze activities. And these activities are all done in main control center. And we also measure the traffic and traffic load and also incidents. And we determine all the data in the main traffic control center, and we catch the incidents using smart motorway sensors, as I explained earlier in the previous pages. And the statistical data, more than 87% of the incidents are detected by our own sources. Only 13% of the incidents are catched by law enforcement officers, which are located on site and patrolling along the site. But 87% of the incidents are catched by our intelligent transport system. And using this intelligent transport system, number of accidents are dramatically reduced, as you could see on the right-hand side of the page. If you compare with 2022, the number of traffic accidents are dramatically reduced, although the number of drivers has been increased like 50%. If you compare with the previous year. In the previous year, daily traffic was 300,000 units per day, but nowadays we are carrying like 450,000 cars and trucks a day. And this the data is also determined using the kilometer data, and we keep the statistics of accidents along the motorway, and you can see the number of accidents on each kilometer of the motorway, and we analyze the data and we find for the root cause of any accidents. As you could see, for example, on kilometer 195, there are 69 accidents, and we determine the causes and search for the remedies. And these are, and also I would like to give another information. Using the smart motorway systems, we take actions for any incident along the motorway, although it's a long motorway, more than 400 kilometers. We take actions for any incidents within 10 minutes. This is also a success, I believe. And this page shows our routine maintenance to extend the life cycle of motorway assets. As you could see, we repair the damaged safety barriers, asphalt repairs, and vertical road marking, cleaning of motorway, horizontal road marking, and winter operations. These are all our routine maintenance operations to give comfort to the drivers and extend the life cycle of motorway assets and on the motorway itself. On this page, I would like to show you the additional precautions that are being applied this year along the motorway to improve the quality and safety of the motorway. One of them is the rumble strip application. We have applied bumps on the right-hand side of the like a barrier on the right-hand side of the motorway to warn the drivers if anyone passes the motorway and which we do not prefer. So this bumping warns the drivers. And another one is barriers. We have built barriers for motorbikers, which is also extremely dangerous. Protect the motorbikers. And another application, this is also quite new, improve the safety of toll collection plazas. We have chipped the concrete along the toll plazas to prevent sliding, which we face a lot. It's an experience, and the drivers come fast to the toll plazas, and then they cannot brake and they cannot stop. And so we provide chipping using some innovative machinery. And the last item might be decreasing use of salt. We use solution, increase the use of salt solution. Like it was 30% at the beginning of the project. Now it's 70%. We use 70% salt solution and 30% salt in winter applications, winter precautions for icing and snow. The last item that I would like to talk about is sound barriers. At the same time, it's a social project, and it's a sample of recycling. We have produced and built along the motorway. There was a town very close to the motorway, and as you could see on the page, the sound noise is reduced dramatically. As you could see, blue circle, there's a decrease in the sound level, and the length, the quantity of this wall is 2,500 square meter. This is also built this year to give comfort to neighbors. Thank you very much. This is all that I would like to talk about from real life experiences. Thank you for giving us this chance to introduce ourselves.
Thank you very much, Yilmaz. And indeed, real life experience. I'm sure that all the asset managers in the room will have enjoyed your presentation. I will maybe ask you to stay with your camera as well as all the panelists, because we have a few more questions. I will start with Mike. Mike, yes, I see you here. Mike, you describe a very complex ecosystem in your presentation, and there is this complexity overarching everything in our sector. So my question to you would be, to ensure that we will get to results at some point in this complexity, how do we manage parameters or indicators like the carbon emission, or like the circularity, or you mentioned specifically the circularity? How do we manage those parameters so that it goes through from the design to the execution? It just, we follow up and we monitor things comprehensively in a very complex and sometimes chaotic ecosystem. What's your views? What are your views on that, please?
I think you need to take two approaches. I think we've touched on one of the approaches already. I think it's really important that we use digital techniques really efficiently. So I think that, we heard about TRL's application for national highways, an ability to know what's on your asset, to be able to track that. Nicolas, you're really interested in the tracking of materials, so that we know where the material went. I'm really interested in that, so I can pick up the material and reuse it the second time around. Earlier on in the opening section, we heard about, digital analysis of how we're thinking about outcomes. So definitely digital is one of the things that helps us deal with complexity. But at the same time, I think we need to be pragmatic. I think that we need to have a pragmatism about what we do. So there's nothing wrong with doing things now. Don't wait for the perfect solution in terms of innovation. And those of us that are into innovation understand, get your technological readiness level ready really quickly. Use trials to understand that you can take practical things and implement them immediately. So it's two things together.
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot agree more. I mean, it's about digital, but it's also about doing things, because if we wait for having the perfect overview on everything, we are probably completely frozen for decades. So yeah, thanks, Mike. And digital is a perfect transition to Subu also in your digital journey with your customers. Subu, what do you think the role of public authorities and regulation can be in this transformation? We often see some transformation coming from the market itself, and not necessarily from the regulation or from the owner's point of view. What are your views and experiences with that? Because you have a living example of transformation tools, right?
Yeah, so the changes, the transformation required on the technology side is happening, available, accessible. Customer demands are changing. The data that we are looking at is changing. Responsive solutions are all there. What is not changing is the way public sector is procuring and using these technologies and solutions. It is still sort of 20 years back, the same framework, same approaches, same method. So that is where is the biggest challenge for an industry itself. It is really difficult to introduce new simple solutions customers can start using and trialing if you private compared to the private sector. So that's one of the sort of roadblocks we come across. The public procurement, tendering, specifications, huge bidding. It is all not really required in this stage. If the thing with the new age solutions is you select something, you ask the vendor to make it work. If it works, you pay for the time it works. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, you don't pay. So that sort of model is not. It's difficult to self-service and subscription-based is difficult. So that's one of the challenges to overcome to get the real benefit of the technology friendliness.
I hear you, and maybe I would get Mike's advice also on that, because that's a matter of policy, and you might be exposed to policy making with regard to regulations and carbon reductions and new parameters and indicators to be implemented. I just take the example of in Europe, at least, the green public procurement is existing, and how do we translate that into the countries? So what's your experience with that, Mike?
Somebody told me one time that to get change, you need a lot of communication. So when I talk to the agencies, they are looking for industry to bring innovation to them. They want to see change that they need to deliver better outcomes, use less material, reduce carbon. When I talk to the producers in industry, they're looking for the agencies and the procurers to set the standards so that they have certainty about what they're going to deliver. So I think in that gap, I noticed maybe we need to talk to each other more about procurement. I think, Subu, you're right. Public procurement has this inbuilt rigidity to it, and we need to have more flexibility. EU procurement does allow for trials and pilots and innovation. So I think I advocate that everybody try and use that more so that we can get the practical measures that we can see working out onto networks, and we use the networks. I think the asset managers have living laboratories, and we should use those assets as living laboratories to test and apply the innovation. And if we can link the public procurement to that, maybe that's the way forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. And that's a joint effort for sure from the ecosystem, and it's also about de-siloing all the players. Complexity can also only work with more fluidity in the things. Which leads me to Guylain. Guylain, you are bringing to the market something definitely innovative and completely new, and that certainly comes with a lot of effort and a lot of barriers. So, I mean, I don't want to focus on barriers only, but what's your experience about barriers and drivers for innovations like that? Because this is really a breakthrough, and I want to hear from you, both sides. You know, some are barriers for sure, but some are drivers as well.
For sure.
Yeah, you can comment on that.
Let's start by the hard one. Let's say the barriers are always linked when you belong, let's say, to a big group like we do, like Colas, and you develop a disruptive solution, a breakthrough innovation. People are like, you have the ones saying it will never work because lots of people thought about it, but nobody, let's say, intended to place the money on it and to do the research and development which was necessary. The other ones say, oh, that will be financed by public money, so this should not happen, this will never work, etc., etc. But in the end, you see that the drivers are the Netherlands placing, let's say, a public tender for solar roads. So this is our achievement, meaning that it's not anything which is delirious anymore. It is now states, provinces issuing public tenders for solar pavement. There is also one in Italy, in Molfetta, in the Puglia, in the port of Molfetta, for 2,000 square meters. I mean, our best-selling country is Japan, so that gives you the best example of why Wattway, yes, is working now and is rolling out, let's say, big time. For many reasons, there are drivers, because I already said that PV, the main issue with photovoltaics is the space constraints, but you also have the needs for resiliency in countries like Japan, for instance, where you get these tornadoes, these high winds that blow up anything which is on the way. You have also that trend, which is, let's say, some will say it's good, some others will say it's bad, that we should stop nuclear plants. So that's another debate. But when you stop nuclear plants, you need lots of renewables to replace what was produced by the nuclear plants. So now what we see is that most of the very developed countries like Germany, Japan, or the Emirates also, etc., they are all now pushing for that technology. So yes, it has been a hard time, because there was the COP21 in Paris with the first show car, which was presented with some journalists which were not really very obvious about the question and didn't really get it, I believe. But now the result is that we are on the market. There are public tenders, so it's a big win for us, actually. Even if for sure, in terms of business, it's not something which will earn a living for Colas today or really tomorrow. But we know that with what is expecting us in terms of climate change, we know that for the 20, 30, 50 coming years, Wattway will really be a solution which already is integrated by some, let's say, consultants. Proof is that I have a consultant waiting for me in 20 minutes in Chicago. So we are now making noise on the market, even in Australia, which I forgot. So yes, it's been hard, but now it's starting to really interest lots and lots of people.
It's on. The power is on.
Yeah, the power is on. Let's say yes. Yeah.
Well done. Thank you. And I will end with Yilmaz, because I appreciate the number of topics that you covered in your presentation and in the asset management. I want to hear from you. What was the biggest win in the last year or last 2 years in terms of efficiency? Did it come with technology? Did it come with just manpower? Did it come with internal ideas? Did it come from the regulation? Where did it come from? And what is, in a few words, the biggest win you had in efficiency?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, we are not a technology developer, but we are using new technologies, and we like to use new upcoming technologies in our motorway, if feasible, because we have a concession period which is very limited. So we seek for economical solutions, and we always compare with the benefits and cost of the new technology, each new technology. And there are several benefits that we have obtained using these new systems and intelligent systems. First of all, we have reduced number of accidents. We save life, and we have increased the comfort of the motorway, and we increased by half. Actually, last year, detecting incidents and taking precautions was taking like 20 minutes or 18 minutes. This year, it's less than 10 minutes. So this is very crucial. And we are using these intelligent transport systems to detect all the incidents, as I explained previously. We have a fiber optic network along our motorway, and another advantage was we have decreased use of salt like by half.
Yeah, that's impressive as well.
Yeah,
I wanted the most effective one, so you gave me 10 already.
Yeah,
and you are very effective. I need to stop it.
And also we have decreased number of patrols, maybe more around 30%. We have patrols around the motorway. We have reduced the number of them, because we
Allow
can see
me to stop you here, please, because I understand
Okay.
you are doing a lot, and this is impressive. 1 hour is not enough for all of us.
Okay.
Thank you all. Thank you. We will close,
Thank
and I
you.
will let the floor to Susanna to transition to the next session. Thank you all very much. It was a good, very informative session.